Mike's Daily Podcast.
Wow. My name is Mike Matthews. This is a show called Mike's Daily Podcast. It's very good to be here today in the show that is
Mike's Daily Podcast.
This is the show called Mike's Daily Podcast, and I'm Mike Matthews. If you didn't figure that out, well, at last you did, because you are such a cool kid, and you're listening to the show with Mike, and we're talking about voter fraud, because everybody does that when they lose. Did I say that out loud? Yeah, voter fraud wouldn't be an issue.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
If Trump would have won, if he would have won, would we have
Mike's
cared?
Daily
Did we
Podcast
care when Hillary lost?
Yeah!
4 years ago? Did the Republicans care when Mitt Romney lost 8 years ago? How about when John McCain lost 12 years ago? What? Wait, am I doing the math right? Yeah. How about when George W. Well, okay, now we get it. The Bush-Gore thing. Yes. That lasted, I think that lasted a lot longer. It feel like it did. It feel like it lasted a long time, and I don't know. Maybe it did. But here's what I do agree with. I agree with. Excuse me. I'm tuning my violin. And I am not a violin player, and that sounded awful. And perhaps you asked a question. Oh, somebody told me today, Mike, when you do a podcast, when you're trying to find your sound effects, it doesn't flow. It's not as good. So, don't do that. Okay.
No.
I'll just do it.
Do it!
That's right.
Oh, my.
That really got out of hand fast. That escalated quickly.
Why do I do all those sound effects? At any rate, that's all I wanted to say there. And I got to turn back around and tune my violin some more. So yeah, voter fraud. I don't want voter fraud.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Look, just because you think, hey, okay, there's two sides to this coin, is the way I see it. This is the way I see it. If you think that Trump should have lost, you think this whole voter fraud thing is just a sign of a sore loser. Everybody that wants Trump, who wanted Trump to win, they can't deal with the fact, they can't deal with the reality without Trump not winning, because he was winning all the time, winning constantly, and he never lost. And now he beat the impeachment, he beat the Russian collusion thing. He beat Basil barking in his face. Good job, Basil. The late, great Basil the boxer, everyone. Awesome. And as to some of you thinking, that's right, that Trump would lose, you said,
That'll never happen!
But now, and I see a lot of denial going on. But at the same time, I understand that if the shoe, and you understand if you did want Trump to lose, that if the shoe was on the other foot, and let's say Biden lost, you would have been, well, he had people sway the elections. And doesn't that sound a little bit more like it should have happened? That Trump had people behind the scenes? Because he knows all these people, and he makes all those decisions. But no, because Trump fights against the swamp, because he's part of the whole QAnon thing, or whatever that whole situation was, the conspiracy theories that are involved with that, everybody was against him. So I don't know. All I'm saying is, if we should be all concerned about voter fraud, and the people that did lie, that did abuse the system to make whatever they wanted happen, they should be thrown in jail, just like we went after the Russians that swayed our election in 2016. There was a bunch of people that they found, the FBI or CIA found. There was a group, some kind of mill in Russia that did this. So We should root out corruption. I'm all for that. Root it out. And then I have to say that I just know that there are a lot of conspiracy theorists, and that's what sets me off. That's when I get really upset. That's when I say, oh, all these people, because when they tell you the whole voter fraud thing, then there's usually another story. There's an addendum to that gets even crazier, that gets even more aluminum foil hat thing as you go down the line. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let's move on from this topic. Oh, the other thing with Trump is that he went golfing the other day. You know, here he is. He should have been all, hey, I was corruption, the Russians colluded. And do you think the Russians this time didn't care? Do you think that, or do we have such a strong anti-Russian way of fighting them back now that they don't interfere with our elections anymore because we discovered them, we exposed them? Did they not try this time, or did they try? Did they want Biden to win? Did they get tired of Trump? Did they go, yeah, Trump isn't doing anything for us, so let's go with Biden? Because Putin hated Hillary. He just could not stand her. He wanted all the stops, pulled all the stops to get her not to win. But maybe with Biden, he was like, I don't know. I kind of like this guy. He seems nice, you know. He's beat a couple of brain aneurysms. I like a guy like this. This is someone, if I tried to poison, he would not die so quickly. This is what I am thinking. 'Cause I am Putin. Da! That was my Russian accent, everybody.
Yep.
It was... Well...
That is not appropriate behavior, okay?
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that Russian accent. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcast Valley. That was a Russian accent. What else did I want to get to? Oh, the podcast picture today. Let's go to Benicia. There are people that I work with that go, why do you always talk about Benicia? Well, because of beautiful pictures like this. And if you criticize me, then you better go and see what the podcast picture is, because it is a beautiful picture, and it is one of the beauties that is the undiscovered gem that is Benicia. So see it at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Interesting factoid, before I met my lovely lady friend, and this is actually, I don't think she was living there, because this is 3 years ago. I don't think she was living there then, but she did live there for a while. And it's funny because I practically parked in front of her house and didn't even know her, and I was parking in front of her house. When I remember there was this one spot I used to always park, and apparently I was parking right there, and that was the world. No, that was the cosmos, is what I mean. The cosmos was forcing us to meet each other, is what I am saying. The cosmos is saying, you two should meet. Why haven't you met yet? Meet now! That's what the cosmos said. The cosmos, billions upon billions of... Actually, Carl Sagan never said that, interestingly enough. When he pointed that out to Johnny Carson, you can see it's on YouTube. Both no longer with us, Carl Sagan or Johnny Carson, but yes, Carl Sagan said to Johnny, I never said billions upon billions of stars. You made that up. Well, I guess I did. Oh, wait, that was Ronald Reagan. Wild stuff. That was kind of Johnny Carson-ish. Not really. Okay, I should have quit with the Putin. Left it there. Hey, I want to say thank you for listening to Mike's Daily Podcast and for checking out the podcast video, the short clip that you can always watch on my YouTube channel, or there's also a clip there at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Yay! There, I just filmed a little video for that. Okay, to wrap up, we'll say hi who's out here at Cafe Anyway in just a moment. But one last thing, perhaps. Let's see. I told the Norm story last time, right? Norm was such a great guy, but he I remember was so agitated with the 2000 election. I remember he would just be like, Gore's America. Gore is going to destroy the country because he hasn't conceded yet. And I wonder what he's saying now. If Norm is still alive, who knows? Let me just say, you float conspiracy theories at your own peril, because it will come back to bite you. And I'm saying it will also come back to bite us if we accept voter fraud. And I say we get it out in the open. We'll take your strange paranoia, and we will indulge you, and we will enable you, and we will let you try and find all the voter frauders that are out there, and we will sew up our system so it's stronger and better everywhere, because you can't mess with democracy. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I don't agree with the conspiracy theories, but I do agree with rooting out corruption. And we should all be that way. And to the conservative talk show hosts that agree with what I just said, don't forget what you just agreed to, because we got to stay on this on all levels. Because it affects the right side, it affects the left side. That's all I'm saying. And we should all listen to each other. Oh, I said that in a previous podcast. And I think you agree with me probably there. But look who's here. Hi, Mark. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing?
It's a disgruntled fiddle player, tell you what.
What?
It's all voter fraud, Mark. In fact, there's so much fraud, there's a bunch of frogs that are hanging outside the cafe anyway.
Those are voter frogs?
Yeah, and they go, ribbit.
Oh, that's cool. Look who else is here. Hello, my commercial. It's Madame Rootabega, and I dated all of the politicians in all of the world. Ooh! Wow. Was that easy to do? Yes. And did you ever want to run for office? Yes. Do you want to be president? No. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And it's Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we hope that this election thing is over with soon day.
Yeah, and vote for Chris Christie in 2024. Do you know that? Did you hear what Chappelle said about Chris Christie? Everything coronavirus loves to eat is inside of Chris Christie. I don't know. That just busted me up. Okay. Too soon? Next show, it'll be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere, the engineer. Tell me what you think. 336MM Daily, 3 plus 3 equals 6. MM is a Mike Matthews. Daily isn't what this podcast will try to continue to be. And I really would like to hear your point of view if you're conservative, if you think this is all voter suppression, voter fraud, or... No, I guess it's not voter suppression. This is the opposite of voter suppression. There's like too much voting going on. Too many people. It busts me up. It's like, you don't think that of all the candidates that have ever run for president, people might have a problem with Trump? I mean, he is outspoken. That tends to happen with the outspoken folk, you know. What do you think about that? You could say, yep, or
That'll never happen!
You let me know. 336MM Daily. And thank you for listening to episode 2150. It's like a 5150 only with the 2.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!